What's up, my fellow gamers out there? Star Fox Assault is nearly a perfect Star Fox game. When I started to play it, I really felt like that this is a love letter for the original SNES version. When I was 12 years old, my childhood friend Greg showed me the original Star Fox on SNES, and I immediately fell in love with it. The atmosphere, the iconic Arwing, the characters, I just loved it. And when I started to play Star Fox Assault, I really felt the same. Yeah, it was really like a love letter to the original game. That 12-year-old boy inside me really felt that this is really something special. When I seen the characters just moving throughout the ship to just get in the air wings and just went, I felt like, yes, this is the game. And I started to play it. And I remember after finishing the second page, I just grabbed my phone and I messaged Greg that, listen, you have to play this game. This is Star Fox. This is peak Star Fox. This is the same what the Nintendo did with the F-Zero on the GameCube. It just cannot be any better. It just cannot be improved. This is the peak. This is the top. But after the third or fourth stage, things started to feel a bit different. I felt like, okay, this is Star Fox, I'm still enjoying it, but it's not as good as I expected it to be. Why? I'm going to go into all the details in this video. So, stick with me. Today we are going to talk about Star Fox Assault on the GameCube.
There are moments in gaming that don't just trigger nostalgia, they pull you back in time. When I started Star Fox Assault and the camera slowly followed Fox, Falco, Peppy and Slippy walking toward their air wings, I immediately felt in my chest. Not because it was flashy, not because it was loud, but because it felt so nostalgic. The animations, the music, the quiet confidence on the scene. And suddenly, that 12-year-old kid who played Star Fox on the SNES, sitting on the floor, trying to understand what polygons even were, he was back, and he was smiling. This wasn't just another sequel. This felt like a love letter written specially to people who grew up with Star Fox. And I'm one of them. And maybe you too. To really understand Star Fox Assault, you have to understand where the series stood before it. The original Star Fox on SNES was revolutionary. It didn't just introduce characters, it introduced the feeling, speed, precision, and that magical illusion of flying in 3D space. Then came Star Fox 64, and let's be honest, that game became the benchmark. For many fans, that is Star Fox. Then Nintendo did something risky. Star Fox Adventures wasn't bad, but it barely felt like Star Fox. It felt that the series has lost its identity. So, when Assault was announced, expectations were high, and fear was real. Would this finally be the return, or just another experiment? In the development of Star Fox Assault, Nintendo handed development to Namco, which at the time was a very interesting move. This is the studio behind Ace Combat, a series that understands fight, speed, and spectacle. And you can feel that influence immediately. Assault isn't just about on-rails shooting, it's about scale. Full planetary invasions, space stations under siege, ground combat mixed with area dogfights. This wasn't Nintendo playing it safe. This was Nintendo saying, let's make Star Fox feel like an actual war. From the very first missions, I was hooked, literally. I really felt that this game is fantastic. The characters are genuinely lovable. The dialogue is light, fun, sometimes cheesy, but in the best Star Fox way. The radio chatter never shuts up, and that's a good thing. It makes the world feel alive, like things are happening whether you are there or not. This isn't a silent arcade shooter, it's a living battlefield. And emotionally it worked on me immediately. This felt like peak Star Fox, the same way F-Zero GX feels like F-Zero pushed to its absolute limit on GameCube. Let me be very clear, when you are in the Arwing, Star Fox Assault is incredible. The controls are tight, the speed is perfect, the combat feels responsive and fluid. The sections feel confident, like the game knows exactly what it is doing. This is Star Fox at its most relaxing and exhilarating at the same time. No overthinking, no stress, just pure space combat joy. If Assault had leaned even harder into this, I wouldn't have complained for a second. The boss fights deserve special mention, as they are just as good as they were in the earlier entries. They are massive, they are dramatic, they are visually memorable, and there are very good variable of different bosses. This is where Assault fully embraces spectacle. You have to find the weak spots of the enemies, and sometimes you have to use special weapons to damage those weak spots. And again, when these battles involve flying, it is absolute perfection. And now let's talk about the part where everyone debates on the on-foot sections. Mechanically, they are better than people give them credit for. I have to mention that controlling the movement and the camera with one stick feels really weird at first, and it feels weird for the second time as well, especially today, but after some time your brain adjusts and it's just okay. The shooting works, the platforming is functional, the level design is often smart, this isn't a failure. However, the problem is when ambitions become pressure. The issue isn't that ground combat exists, the issue is how much responsibility the game puts you on at once. There are missions where you are fighting through a space station on foot, and your team is battling enemies outside. A bar at the top of the screen shows them slowly getting overwhelmed. So, now you are forced to make a choice. Do you abandon your mission inside to have them outside, or do you stay and let things get worse? And honestly, that stressed me out. Star Fox to me was always a game I could sink into and relax with even during intense moments. The system adds tensions, yes, but it also adds frustration. It just breaks the flow. Especially what was annoying, that I felt that the team is completely hopeless without me. They are easily overwhelmed outside and I had to constantly climb down to the hangar to help them out with some dogfight combat. It was annoying, I had to admit. When Star Fox Assault has been launched, reactions were split. Fans loved the return to the classic Star Fox energy. Critics praised the flight mechanics, but many felt the ground gameplay dragged the experience down. And that conversation still hasn't been ended. Some players adore Assault for its scope, others wish it was focused purely on flying. And what's my opinion on that? Well, I think both sides are right. The game needed something new and ground combat is exactly that. I think if the balance could be better, like 70% space combat and 30% ground combat would be the perfect balance for me. But what about you? Let me know in the comments below. But here's the important part. I respect what the game is trying to do. Assault wants you to feel like a commander, not just a pilot. Multiple fronts, multiple roles, real consequences. And because of that, the game feels complete. Even when I didn't fully enjoy certain missions, I understood why they existed. This wasn't random experimentation, this was ambition. Star Fox Assault isn't perfect, but it's sincere. It remembers where Star Fox came from and it respects the fans while it dares to push the series forward. For me, that's enough. When I think back on this game, I don't remember frustration first, I remember that feeling. That feeling of being 12 again, that feeling of taking off in an Arwing, that feeling that Star Fox is still mattered. And honestly, that's something special I'm grateful for I could feel this again.
So, should you play Star Fox? Of course, this is still a very solid game and this is still peak Star Fox. This just, as unfortunately there are no any more entries in this series, so this is what we have currently as the latest Star Fox game, and it's still a very solid game. Despite what I said about the stages when you are not actually flying the Arwing and you just on your foot or in some vehicle, those stages are still okay. I just enjoy it much more when I can fly the Arwing throughout bases or in the space and I can do dogfight and just combat with my team. It's in a way, I believe that it's still important to have those stages where you play the game in a TPS viewpoint, because this is just expands the Star Fox universe. And I think this is where the argument comes from, that some fans says that no, it should be just still space combat inside the Arwing, and some other people saying that no, it's fine, and it just this both worlds is just a good expansion of the Star Fox experience. And I'm really curious, what do you think? Which one is better? This experience where you can fly the Arwing and you can do the vehicle and the on-foot combat, or you just would like to stick to the original one? I'm an old school guy, I enjoy the SNES version, and I feel that my opinion is just the Arwing and the space combat stages are better, but this is just me. Let me know how you feel about it. And even if you just start your Star Fox Adventure now, or you play the older versions of as well, just give this game a try. This is still a solid game.
Thanks for joining me on this trip back to the golden age of gaming. If you love unearthing forgotten classics, or even the disasters, we got plenty more adventures ahead. So, press start and subscribe to join the quest. The algorithm has dug up a couple more relics for you. They are right here on the screen waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Backlog Quest video.